Okay, so hello ladies and gentlemen, I'm Salsabila Saifa with my other friends as the member of our group, Shofi Nurmala Sari and Yeni Vara Sasmita. Here, we would like to present our literary work analysis entitled Two Kinds by Amitan. Our analysis is a short story that consists of characterization, plot, and setting as the main element of it. For the first, I would like to share my screen and explain about the first element, which is the characterization of this short story. Okay, so we are on the first slide, which is the title of our analysis, Jing-Mei, the Protagonist, Two Kinds by Amitan. Next, here is our team that consists of 3 members. And we are on characters and characterization. So, we are only focusing on 2 main characters, Jing-Mei and her mother, because the others are not really important due to their supporting figure. According to our point of view, these 2 main characters are divided into protagonist and antagonist. First, I would like to introduce the protagonist character, which is Jing-Mei as the narrator itself. She is an obedient girl who always trying to fulfill her mother's wishes. It is showed when her mother asked her to change her hairstyle, gave her a book regarding a test that she had to do, and when she was asked to take a course for joining the piano competition but she was not complaining about it, that expressed in the passage below. I started to play, everything was so beautiful. I was so caught up in how lovely I looked that I wasn't worried about how I would sound. Meanwhile, she is also diligent because she followed the piano routinely. I mean, she is also a disciplined girl. For the second one is the antagonist character, Jing-Mei's mother. She is an authoritarian and temperamental mother. She always pushes Jing-Mei to do all her commands and she doesn't give Jing-Mei a chance to choose the way she wants. Also, she is temperamental. It is showed from this passage. My mother slapped me. Who asks you to be genius? She shouted. Only asks you to be your best. For your sake. You think I want you to be genius? What's for? Who asks you? So ungrateful. I heard her mother in Chinese. If she had as much talent as she has a temper, she would be famous now. Furthermore, she is also a hard-working woman that is showed from the passage, and my mother had traded house cleaning service for weekly lessons and piano for me to practice on every day, 2 hours a day from 4 until 6. She has a prestige that she doesn't want to be behind on other people, as it is showed in the passage, and my mother squared her shoulders and bragged, "Our problem worse than yours." If we ask Jing-Mei watch this, she hears nothing but music. It is like you cannot stop this natural talent. And right then I was determined to put a stop to her foolish pride. Okay, so for the next topic will be presented by my friend, Shofi Nurmala Sari. She is going to explain about the plot of the story.
Thank you, Salsabila, for giving me the time. I'm Sophie Nurmala. I'm going to talk about the analysis of the next topic, which is the plot of the story. In this session, I will talk about the sequence of the story starting from the exposition. The story, the family of Jing-Mei moved from China to San Francisco in 1949, where her mother believes that Jing-Mei can be everything she wanted to be in America. Jing-Mei is given many choices in her life since moving to America. influenced by her mother's unfortunate past where she lost everything in China and had no choice. Her mother started to force her to do many things like change her hairstyle like Peter Pan's haircut, asked her to read many books, and gave her some tests, but they couldn't choose the right talent. Until one day, her mother asked her to take piano lessons with Mr. Chong without any discussion. She played her way and her skill didn't improve. Once again, her mother and Mr. Chong enrolled Jing-Mei in the talent show without notifying her first. She played well at first, but in the middle, her performance became awful, as it showed in the passage below. So I was surprised when I hit the first wrong note, and then I hit another and another. It made her feel guilty about herself and successfully disappoints her mother.
Until that night, I didn't believe I was a prodigy. In fact, I used to go out of my way to prove my mother wrong, that I wasn't cut out to be the best anything. I could only be me. It was incredible. It was like my hands were possessed by Mozart. And everybody could see this, could hear this. I was a genius. I had been discovered. And then I heard it. Maybe they didn't notice.
Bravo, bravo! Encore! Well done!
Jing-Mei said that I felt the shame of my mother and father as they sat stiffly through the rest of the show. Then her mother still expected her to continue the lessons, but Jing-Mei refused to do that because she didn't want to be like her mother wishes. Jing-Mei and her mother started fighting with each other until Jing-Mei said a word that made her mother shut up and gave up on her. Jing-Mei never did the best in anything. It is proof, as in the passage that said, "In the years that followed, I failed her many times, each time asserting my will, my right to fall short of expectations." She only did it for her mother. In the years that followed, she failed all of her mother's expectations because she didn't believe she could be anything and she could only be herself. During those years, she and her mother never talked about the horrible performance. Jing-Mei found that her mother had given up on her. Then several years ago, her mother offered to give her a piano on her 30th birthday, and she saw the offer as forgiveness. After her mother did a few months earlier, she had already tuned the piano. She opened Schumann's book and played Pleading Child and perfectly contented parts, and it turned out to be pretty easy than before. The next topic, which is the setting of the story, will be presented by my friends, Yeni, Vara, Sasmita. Time is yours.
Okay, Sophie Nurmala, thank you for giving me the time. My name is Yeni Vara Sasmita, and first I would like to explain about the setting of the story. The story takes place in Chinatown in San Francisco, USA, from 1949 to 1989. It is shown from the passage she had come to San Francisco in 1949 after losing everything in China, and all I knew was the capital of California because Sacramento was the name of the street we lived in Chinatown. Well, I had just explained where was the story took place and when it has happened. After this, I'm going to explain about the narrative perspective. Next, please. The story uses a first-person point of view. The narrator is directly involved and tells the story from her perspective. The narrator was around 30 at that time when she retells about her past. And next, we are going to explain the topic discussion based on our arguments. Please. Next, please. The author describes the kind from one person's point of view, named Jing-Mei. Then, how do you characterize Jing-Mei as a protagonist figure? Well, there are three reasons to prove that Jing-Mei is a protagonist figure. The first reason is Jing-Mei is a very obedient girl, and she always does what her mother wants her to do. It is shown in this passage. Soon, after my mother got this idea about Shirley Temple, she took me to the beauty training school in Mission District and put me in the hands of the students who could barely hold the scissors without shaking. And the passage, based on the statement above, it is clearly stated that she always fulfilled her mother's wishes or words, even it did not appropriate with her wishes. Also, there is a passage that says, "Only two kinds of daughter," she shouted in Chinese, "those who are obedient and those who follow their own mind. And only one kind of daughter can live in this house, obedient daughter." The next, please. The second reason is Jing-Mei's mother forced her to be someone she wanted to be. Furthermore, her mother also forces Jing-Mei with various options to make her prodigy. As it is said in the passage below, she would present new tests, taking her examples from stories of amazing children that she read in Ripley's Believe It or Not, or Good Housekeeping, Reader's Digest, or any of a dozen other magazines she kept in a pile in our bathroom. And actually, there are many other parts that show that Jing-Mei's mother forced her with various options to make her a prodigy. But I will just mention the outline. Like when her mother wanted Jing-Mei to be like Shirley Temple, taking her to the salon to be dressed like her, and Jing-Mei mother gave her tests on all kind of things that she had to answer. And then Jing-Mei mother taught her to take piano lesson with Mr. Chong. Next, please. And then the last reason is her mother's behaviors hurt Jing-Mei's because she cannot be herself, as it is shown in the passage. I began to cry. Such a sad girl, ugly girl. I made high-pitched noises like a crazed animal, trying to scratch out the face in a mirror. And the passage. When my mother told me this, I felt as though I had been sent to hell. I whined, and then kicked my foot a little when I couldn't stand it anymore. "Why don't you like me the way I am?" I cried. "I'm not a genius. I can't play the piano. And even if I could, I wouldn't go on TV if you paid me $1 million. My mother slapped me." From those two passages above, we can conclude that her mother's authoritarian treatment made Jing-Mei suffer from not being able to be herself. Her mother did not give her the freedom to make her own choices. Her mother didn't even hesitate to slap Jing-Mei if she fought back. And next, please. And finally, we are in the last part of our analysis. From the story of Jing-Mei and her mother, we can learn two valuable lessons. So let me read the conclusion of our explanation. Children should be given the freedom to choose what they want in life. It is unfair if the parents impose their will on their children without listening to the wishes of their children.
I think that's all from us. I hope you can understand the meaning well. Last but not least, we would like to say thank you so much for taking the time to watch our presentation. See you!